Hi, this is Bhaskar here. Welcome to Customer Relationship Management Systems. So what is a CRM? A CRM is a process of managing all aspects of your customer life cycle. So what are some of the best practices of a customer relationship management system? Number one, you have to start early. A system is just a tool. But let's talk about the process, the whole process. A CRM is a tool that helps you to encourage you to start early. So start early as possible. That's legally allowed, so that you could go and build relationship with the customer so that they know you, like you, trust you, so that when the tender comes out, they might even buy from you. So from the time, start early. Point number one. Point number two, you also have to use your CRM to listen and capture as much information as possible from the conversation that you're having with your customer. Number three, also use that session to influence as much as you can so that the RFP comes out in the format and the requirements and the solutions are actually what you could deliver in your organization. So point number one, start early. We all know shaping is critical. Number two, develop and execute content plan. Develop and execute a content plan. We all know what the content plan is. The content plan, it could be a spreadsheet, a simple spreadsheet that just tell you who are the people that you need to build contacts with, when are you going to plan to meet them, where are you going to plan to meet them, what are the topics that you're going to talk to them, and how are we going to approach each of the discussion. It's a very simple spreadsheet that you can use it. You don't need to have a big funky CRM tool. You could start as simple as a spreadsheet to just capture your contact plan strategy. The next one is, when you go for a meeting, always go in two. Why is it important? The 2% rule is very important for multiple reasons. Number one, when you are talking, you're not listening, right? So the other person who's going with them can be the person who could listen. When that person talks, you could be the listener, and you could observe your client so that you could know their body language, you could see what ticks them, what actually upsets them, and so that you could plan it around it. And most importantly, if there is a question, you are not the only person who is answering the question. You could also have and get the help of your colleague who is going to be with you, so that it gives that multi-personality, multi-perspective to the client. So 2% rule. Next one is approach to a customer meeting. Always do that in a strategic way. Don't just go blind with not much preparation. Approach it in a strategic way. How are we going to do strategically? You need to have a marketing plan, a proper marketing communication plan. What does a marketing communication plan should cover? Obviously the contact plan, because you need to know who you are going to meet when. Leverage the social media where possible, and also have an understanding of who is the person who's actually going to deliver this marketing communication plan strategy, and is it him or her, or do you have a group of team that's going to back with it? Most importantly, what is going to be your elevator pitch, the before and the after of working with you as a company? So strategic approach with a marketing plan. Number six, software. There are multiple software, enterprise software like Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics, you name it. And then there is software as a service providers like Pipedrive and others who exist as well. So, but very simple terms, don't be bogged down by the software. Software is nothing but an empty shell. You just need to ensure that the value or the data that goes into the software is the right sort of data. If the data is cleansed frequently, the data is reliable, and the data is what you're going to use it to build a relationship with the customer. And as soon as you have that meeting, the CRM needs to be updated. The software is just a tool, the multitude of software that's available, but don't be bogged down with the software. Start with a simple spreadsheet. External resources. Is it prudent to have external people to build the relationship? Yes, to a certain extent, provided you are new to the industry. So use some consultants, use some experts, especially if it's very niche regulated markets like defense, utilities, energy sector, transport, or any sector where you don't have the expertise yourself. Get the help from external consultants, use the experts, and also use the government liaison authorities. Sometimes working with the government means you do need to have government experts, communication experts, who can help you to build a government strategy for you as well. So where possible, also try to use experts. So the final point, as I mentioned, is remember, we are living in a globalized world, so please do give respect to the cultural barriers that you might need to face. Whichever country that you're operating, understand whether you can shake hands, understand whether you do this, understand whether you do this. That's very basic, but most importantly, understand how they approach the whole relationship. Some people would expect you to go a long way before they trust you, but some culture trusts you immediately and they talk straight. So some European culture talk straight, some Oriental cultures, they won't even share what they mean to you. So pushing them too far meant you're breaking the relationship, whereas in certain European cultures, it'd be straight talk and you get things done. So understand the cultural barriers of where you operate. So very quickly, the best practices: start early. Develop your content plan. From the content plan, build up your marketing communication plan. From then on, decide your 2% rule. It's pretty important to have a 2%. That's the approach. From there, move into the external resources if required, and also the software. Finally, understand the cultural impact of how the whole communication is going to work for you. But moving on here, what are some of the key principles of organizational structure that you can go for here? People tend to make this mistake of always thinking the chief procurement officer or the CEO or the CXO of a company is a key stakeholder. Don't always make the mistake. Sometimes your procurement manager, your procurement expert in the local region might have much more influence than the strategic leadership who are going to have the relationship. Don't always use higher level, senior level sponsors as your key relationship buyers. Always understand the influences in your structure and how you can build from there, because they are the one who can become your advocate when you are not there in the organization. So finally, also understand from the misunderstanding of what your whole communication is going to go. It's not always going to work in the same way as you wanted. If there is a misunderstanding, how can you recover from that, and what can you do to improve your position from there? In summary, customer relationship management system is a process of managing all aspects of your CRM. Be clear with your best practice and how you can improve from those best practices. And finally, not just beginning early, but even when you begin late, listen. Because when you listen, you can know something new, but when you speak, you're only going to speak what you know. And the last point is software is just a tool. Don't be bogged down with the software as such. See what inputs or information that you could add to the software. And that ends the chapter, Customer Relationship Management Systems.